Hi Lumineers, welcome to the Lighter Side Show. I'm your host, Jamie Butler, the Everyday Medium, and I have Priya Lakhi here in studio today, who's going to talk to us about the power of intent. And I really can't wait to dive into this because I have a ton of questions wrapped around this. She has no idea yet. But before we get into this, I have some housekeeping notes. I know how excited you are about this, guys. What we do have coming up is Dan Drazen is coming to Atlanta to the Center for Love and Light in May, and we're going to have 2 private screenings of his documentaries, one on the skull experiment, and the other one is called Calling Earth. Amazing documentaries. If you want to see proof of phenomena, proof of communication to afterlife, come to these classes / workshops / movie night, and you're going to have one-on-one time with Dan as he tells you all the things that he's experienced and how he's been able to record this phenomena. Absolutely out of sight. Then in June, we're going to be in Kamloops at the Kashik Ranch with Marion Harangozo. We love you! Lumineers, definitely come to Kamloops if you want to experience vortexes and portals and land that is so alive you vibrate. It is insane. We're going to take a tour of the land, use dowsing rods and pendulums so that you can see the movement of the energy because it's so unique. And there are gemstones and rocks found in this area that cannot be explained by geologists. We're also going to do some night sky viewing and wait for those unidentifiable objects to come out. Because yes, last year I did see them and I'm a little confused about it and excited. So we're going to make a thing out of this. And Lumineers, Luma Summit is coming this October, the weekend of the 11th. So come to Atlanta, Lumineers, if you want some one-on-one time. We keep it very small just for that occasion. We will have a sound healing treatment. We will have some yoga experience and many other lectures. So please keep your eye on our website at jamiebutlermedium.com and sign up for the newsletter for all the latest and greatest information about where we are and what we're up to. Now, let's meet Priya Lakhi, who was at Luma Summit 2018, and now she's on stage, and you're going to talk to us about the power of intent. Now, we have had you on our podcast.
Yep.
And if you want to know more about Priya, which you will after you get to meet her because you're so unique, you had a life before this that is extremely different. Can I challenge you to sum it up in 5 sentences?
Yeah. Hi. I was a criminal defense lawyer that worked with clients on death row. That was my profession. Did that for 18 years. Had a beautiful, magical healing experience in India and came back. And now I do coaching and healing work and am in recovery for my legal career.
I think I'm in recovery from your legal career.
It's recovery. Yeah, I got out of the world of shoulds into the world of, what do I actually want?
Of possibility.
Of possibility with intention.
Okay, now, before we start anything, I want to know your definition of intent.
My definition of intention is simple. It is simply getting clear about what it is that you want.
Is wanting okay? I hear a lot in the spiritual world. If you want something, it always stays in a wanting manner. I'm just curious. I'm not trying to pick you apart.
What do you mean by that? It always stays in a wanting manner.
Yeah, and it never comes. It's like you're supposed to say, I have, rather than I want.
So I'm going to talk about that. I think,
good.
I think intention has 2 parts. One has to be desire. I think intention is the desire of all dreams. I have to intend to want to get a glass of water before I get up and get a glass of water. I have to want the water.
Yes.
Right? And so I think wanting and desire has to be one part of it. I think the second part of getting clear on what you want is then already believing that you have it.
You've heard it, Lumineers, demystifying the verb want. Right here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to, there's no other way to create a desire besides want.
Right.
Right. And my want will be different than your want. And as it should be.
But is that strange? I'm air quoting here if you're just listening, but that spiritual connection or lesson to, well, you need to state what you have, and that means you have it, rather than I want to reach that goal and I'm aligning myself to have it.
Yeah.
So there's always many schools of thought, but I've always resonated with the the wanting and desiring is part of making the recipe and stirring the pot, to get that end result.
It's the creation.
The creation of it.
It's the creation of it. I mean, and I want my wanting to be as bodacious and as big as the dream. So I have to want it as bad as the dream is. And if it's only a dream, then I don't want it, then it doesn't feel real.
Did you ever have any trouble going big?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I've played small for most of my life. Intentionally. I think there's the fear of going big. I know what I'm good at and I can control that. But what I can't control is the big, bodacious intention. And so that's where the surrender comes in. And that's when it feels a little harder and a little like, oh, shit. And I curse.
Say it, Priya. Just do it.
But that's right. Yeah, of course. I think intention with boldness is a muscle that needs exercise.
So was that something that you had to build up?
Absolutely. With intention. I mean, not to be funny, but I had to say, like, to myself, you can dream bigger. You can want more. Not only can you want it, you can achieve it. But you can't achieve it if you don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the saying I already have it comes in. Like, I think intention without an emotional charge won't work. The emotional charge is, oh, I already have it. Because our body and our mind actually live in the past and our intention lives in the future. And if we want our intention to be magnetized towards us, we have to already have it.
So how do you do that? Is this something that you can clearly just do on your own? Like if you're now thinking, oh, I want this, so I'm very clear about it, I'm going to set the intent and we're kind of done? Or is it a process? Is it where you have a coach or somebody that's coming in and kind of feeding you like, okay, now switch the gear from want to have, switch into belief, switch into...
I think it's all of the above. In terms of, can you do it on your own? Absolutely. Can your intention become clearer with the help of a coach or a healer? Yes. But do you need a coach or a healer? No. I don't believe you need a coach or a healer. But if you want to achieve your intention with support and with an accountability and with an expansiveness, I think a coach and a healer can absolutely help be your partner in that.
Can I add in there, if somebody wants to like achieve it in a certain amount of time, would you apply a coach to the situation then? Or can you not say it'll happen in a certain amount of time when you're talking about an intent?
I think you can say it could happen in a certain amount of time in terms of that it's forward movement.
Yes.
Right? And that is enough for the intention to gain momentum. Because what we're actually doing is we have a desire and a want. We put out into the quantum field. I'm not talking about the field of like, we're changing matter. I'm talking about thought and like the quantum field. And so we want that intention in the future to come to us at a certain period of time. The intention needs to feel our momentum. And so any forward movement allows it to come quicker. I fundamentally have experienced that and believe that.
Nice.
So here's how I think we have to do it, though.
Okay.
Because I do think there's a little bit of a science to it, to intention. I think you have to have a desire. You have to have a want. And then I believe that you have to have an emotional component where you are already living it. So, for example, if you want to be healthy and healed, you have to start today feeling healthy and healed so the quantum field knows how to meet your energy in the future. It's like a bat signal almost. So like one is thinking, but the emotion is like the bat signal, like, oh, come to me. I am ready. I am ready for this intention.
So it's a point of receiving.
It's a point of receiving. I believe the emotion is the point of receiving, and the thought is the point of dreaming.
I've never heard it put like this. I really like this.
That's what I mean. And it took me a minute to get there, because what I was doing, honestly, was I was setting these intentions and I wasn't believing them.
So what was happening?
And nothing was happening. And then I was getting frustrated and like, oh, this shit doesn't work. And like, what is this intention stuff or power of attraction? And then I realized, the missing component was that I wasn't sitting in the belief that I already had it. Like, I wasn't sitting in the belief that I am healthy. I am lovable. I am in a new job.
Okay, so I have a small little, what do we call that? An irk? A little I don't know. Find your own word here, huh? It doesn't work for me. I've met a few people who have done I have this. They clearly don't have it. Let's say, let's take money, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And this man was telling me, well, I'm a millionaire. I can do whatever I want. I'm a millionaire. And I have $1 million. And on and on and on. And he does not have $1 million. But the way that he was saying it, and he told me, no, I'm straight up saying it like this because that's what I'm believing in and that's what I'm attracting. But it was like, well, why are you announcing it to me? It makes like no sense, and you don't have $1 million, and you can't afford this right now, like whatever we were doing, whether it was a meal or a trip or whatever it was, and you're struggling with it a little bit, and then you're just telling me you're a millionaire. Like, it didn't add up to me, and I didn't like being in the energy of it, and I was almost slightly embarrassed for the person, and I didn't want to be around it. And so I was like, oh, just whatever. And I walked away because I couldn't put it. Energetically, it was like this spark that went nowhere. Like a misfiring or wires that were touching each other that were live, but not in a healthy way.
And I think, can I tell you
Please talk to me about this.
I think why that spark, sort of made you feel.
Yeah, and if it's something that's just with me. Is it because maybe I have a issue with money or something of that nature? Like, I really looked at myself because I know that anything that I'm not feeling aligned with is something inside of me that's being highlighted, right?
Potentially. Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think what triggers us oftentimes are some of our lessons that we need to work through.
Yes.
But I think what's interesting, so the first thought that came up when you said that to me was, actually what he was doing was not coming from a place of abundance. He was coming from a place of lack.
Yes.
Right? And so therefore the energetic charge didn't feel like, oh, he's coming from his pure intention. Because if you're sharing it in that way, you're like forcing yourself to believe it versus
that's what
living
it was.
it.
It was like he was forcing himself to believe that certain statement.
Yeah.
When you're right, if it came from a place of abundance, I probably would have looked at him and said, high five, go get your $1 million.
Right.
Let's make this happen.
And that's the difference. It's like you have to live in that place of intention. It's almost like eating an organic breakfast and then eating junk food all day. Like it won't, right? It won't work. You have to eat the same way that you intended at breakfast, at dinner, because you have to live in that creation as if it is fundamentally who you are versus another mask you've put on yourself.
So that's the same way that you would look at it mentally. Thinking the same way at breakfast as you would at dinner and holding it the whole way through.
And holding it the whole way through. In order for me to feel like I am abundant, I cannot live in a place of scarcity today. I may not have the abundance that I want in the future, but if I'm going around looking for affirmation or love and in other ways of scarcity, I'm basically telling the universe, oh, I have this intention in my head, but I don't believe I'm capable of abundance in any way, shape, or form.
Is this something that you help people with one-on-one?
I do. I absolutely do. Because here's like a really... I think what's interesting is because of my lawyer background, I had to do a lot of work understanding the brain because of a lot of the work that I do with my clients.
Right.
And so here's what I know to be true. When we state our intention with clarity, and we have this emotional component of creation behind it, like I believe it and I know how to create it, we activate this part of our brain called the frontal lobe.
Yeah.
And the frontal lobe is our creation center.
Yes, it is.
And so the frontal lobe basically goes through our neurotic pathways and says, oh, here are all the experiences that are going to prove your intention to be true.
And then you're looking at a lens of proof rather than the doubt.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Absolutely. Which is why the clarity of the intention matters, right? Because otherwise, and here's the one thing we can't do, which is a lot of what I used to and a lot of what I talk to my clients about. We can't say I want a new job and then put, but I only want it in this city and not to impact this person. I only want it to make this amount of money and I only want it to do this, this, and this, and this, because then you create that container gets smaller and smaller and smaller versus I want a new job and I want it to impact me in this way and I want it to feel like this, which allows for that quantum field of potential and possibility to just get wider.
So you're really helping people change the lens of how they're expressing themselves. Word choice, obviously.
Word choice.
Perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And finding the emotional connection to
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think even way before that, it's really getting clear on what your heart wants, which frankly, most of us have no idea. Yeah. I remember being asked when I was in a deep depression, what do I want? I couldn't come up with an answer. I was like, I don't know. I just know I don't want this.
So how did you get out of that, if I can ask that?
I had to get out of my brain and really get to the heart of the matter. And I say that with intention. I couldn't think myself out of my depression. Like I couldn't just say, pretend if I, and if I thought myself out of it, what I was really saying was I needed all of these things to happen before I would be happy. It was the cause and effect. But when I got to my heart, I was causing the effect, if that makes sense. I was like, oh, yes, this is how I want to feel. This is what I want to experience in whatever way it shows up in my life. Ultimately, it was joy. That's what was missing. And that connection to myself to even know what made me joyful. So it took a lot of stillness and opening of this heart center with energy work, with beautiful coaching and questions, and with knowledge. I think knowledge is the base of experience. So I read a lot of books and texts and spiritual things and was like, oh, there's a whole different way to do this thing called life. I don't have to do it the way every single person around me has been doing it.
No, not by
far. And that opened the heart even more.
So what kind of clients do you take on? Is there an age range? Is anybody?
Yeah, I found that I resonate really well with clients that have achieved a high level of success, but still feel unfulfilled and lost on the inside. Basically who I was a few years ago, who have seemingly checked all of the boxes and still wake up and are like, it's not working. Something's not working. I did all the things I was supposed to do, and it's not making me joyful, happy, peaceful, content, excited. And I'm just living on autopilot. So clients who are creative and know there's something more, who know they're on the brink of something, but don't know how to get there.
Lumineers, if that sounds like you, or if it resonates with you and it's something that you're ready now to want to address, this is your girl. You can find her at awakenananda.com, and we're going to put all the information beneath, but there's also something else. Priya came into the studio today and shared that she is willing to open up and offer a free introductory session with her that's 45 minutes long. and you can get to know her and how she works. And I can have you explain kind of what happens in the first session.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind.
Absolutely. I feel like if you're going to invest time and resources in yourself, which is what I had to do, I had to put money and resources and time on the line when I wanted to live my life with intention.
Yeah.
Versus in reaction. But what I really appreciated when I was able to do that was to talk to the person or the people that I was going to do that with. And so what this Awaken Your Purpose Clarity session is an opportunity for us to like date for 45 minutes, right? Like, do we work? It's a date. It's like a speed date.
So Lumineers, if this is something that is sitting with you or weighing on your heart, you're like, oh my God, that might be, I'm always encouraging you, fingers to the keyboard, go research, go read, go get the book. Let's just do this. You guys are watching, you want to learn, you want to be a part of it, you want to make the changes. So let's just do this. You can find Priya on her Instagram account. And you can direct message her and just say, hey, I'm totally interested in that intro meeting, finding greater purpose and clarity session, or as she calls it, your first hot date with her. No.
It is a hot date. There'll be many sexy moments.
You can find her on Instagram at Awaken Ananda. So now that we have that out of the way, and I'm so grateful that you're offering this to the Lumineers. Like, that is so big.
Of course. And I'm excited because I feel like the Lumineers are already on the path, right? They're already on this exploration of curiosity of what is my highest potential? What is the greatest gift I can offer to the world through myself? And I mean, it's like, to me, it's like you're the perfect date. Like, it's literally who I want to spend my time with.
Yay! Yeah. Okay, now there was something I was thinking about as you were talking, and it was before we got into the clarity of the intent, and it was going back to the playing small and believing big. Can you give us any advice on how to make that jump of, like you said, we trained ourselves to play small, you've got this territory that you do it really well, it's awesome, I don't need to step out of it because I'm fine, but we yearn or desire or want something different or larger. How do we shift those gears? I know you have to speak in general, and that's difficult when we're talking about clarity and intent.
Yeah, but I think it's a beautiful question. And so I think our personality creates our personal reality. That's something Joe Dispenza says. And so what he says is our personality is how we think, how we act, and how we feel. And so if we are trying to then create a new personal reality, which is thinking bigger and being bigger, then we have to change our personality, how we think, how we feel, and what we do. And so I think step one is understanding that it's even possible to change our personal reality, but then we have to do the hard work and push ourselves out of the comfort zone and do what you just said, which is like read the books, push the keyboard, take the classes. If you want your future personal reality to be different, you have to change your personality, which is who you've just showed up as in this lifetime. And that's maybe a whole different conversation. It's not who you are on the inside, because who you are on the inside is an infinite being with infinite possibilities. But as we work towards that infiniteness, how we think and how we act and how we feel has to become part of the equation. So that's what I would say is how we do it. Like, we can do hard things. We've done them in our entire life. And even where we are today is just a series of choices and decisions that we've made. Right? And I think at some point you reach this level of success that you're so afraid to make the wrong choice. And I think that's part of it too. We're so afraid to make a choice and have it be the wrong one because we've achieved some level of comfort and some level of success that rocking the boat feels scarier than making the wrong choice. But to me, when I've made the choice to just move forward, it's never been wrong. Even if it's not what I wanted. I've always got what I needed. Yeah. I mean, it's a practice. I mean, it's a daily practice. But I do it because I've seen it.
You've seen the success of it.
I've seen the success of it. I've felt it in my bones, and I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I didn't get myself out of that place.
Yeah. I want to ask a series of questions to you, Priya, about if the power of intention will help, like change, shift, cure, alleviate, just kind of remedy, all those words. You can choose your own words, Lumineers, in certain situations. So, like, does the power of intent help with somebody who has depression?
Absolutely.
Does it help with someone who wants a new car?
Absolutely.
Does it help with someone who wants to expand their family?
Yes.
Human, baby, or pets?
All of the above.
Does it help someone who has mental illness?
Yes.
Does it help somebody who has disease or an illness?
Yes.
Ha.
Ha.
That was a great speed round. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Ooh, I feel a little hot now.
You're out of the hot seat.
Awesome.
Before we say goodbye and close up with the power of intention, is there anything that you would like to offer the Lumineers, a little golden nugget, something that they can take today and just run with it?
Remember that anything you want is available to you. Anything. And so with the power of intention, if you can just tie the emotional component of it and feel like, I want a new job, and then you feel yourself in that new job and you live your entire day as if you've already achieved that new job, then there's absolutely no way the universe won't dance with you. There's just no way, because the universe is ready to dance.
And so is Priya.
And, well, most days.
Find her on Instagram at Awaken Ananda, and find her on her website, awakenananda.com. Reach out to her, guys, if you feel like the initial first visit is something that you want to fulfill your direction and get your clarity and set your intent.
Beautiful.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me so much.
We're going to hug and embrace when the cameras are down. So thank you so much, Lumineers, for being here. Thank you so much for lending us your eyes and your ears. And I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. And remember, it's not woo-woo. It's true. Bye.